The real freedom is being disliked by other people. Is that so? Let's find out in today's video as I will be distilling the lessons I learned from this book, The Courage to be Disliked, and hopefully this video will bring you some great values in life, and I think it will. Let's dive into it. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. This is the core of Adlerian psychology, and when you really think about it, it makes sense. If every single person disappeared and you were completely alone in the universe, no friends, no family, no society, what problems would you really have? You wouldn't worry about how you look, whether you are successful, whether people like you, and whether if you are falling behind in life. Because all those concerns exist only in relation to other people. Even the things we call personal issues are usually caught up with other people's opinions, expectations, or judgments. And you might be worrying about something quietly in your mind. A memory of what someone said, a fear of what someone might think, a feeling of not measuring up when compared to others. Let's say, I feel insecure about my height, right? But here's the thing. That insecurity didn't come from me. It came from comparing to others. Because if I am completely alone on earth, I am the only person on earth, I wouldn't think about, oh no, I'm too short, because there's no one to compare myself to. Our sense of value only becomes a problem when we start comparing. And we only compare when there's someone to compare to. Now, being completely alone in the world isn't really possible. Even when we are physically by ourselves, we still carry people in our mind. We replay conversations, imagine future judgment, revisit past criticism. True solitude, mental solitude is rare, but learning to find peace with yourself without always looking outward for validation, that is the real path forward. Life as a series of dots. Imagine your life not as a straight line, but as a series of dots. Every dot is a single day. Today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, just today. When we see life as a line, we tend to obsess over what is behind us, the regrets, the mistakes, or what is ahead. The what if, the worries, and that pull us away from the only moment we actually have control over. Right now, think of it this way. Have you ever been so lost in overthinking about something you said last week that might hurt someone? Or stressing about a meeting next week that you didn't enjoy your weekend at all? This is the trap of living on the line. When we're living on the line, our mind have access to the past and the future. But when we treat our life as a series of dots, right? We break the bridge between yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You give yourself permission to focus, to be present, to live fully. Like when you are hanging out with your friends and you leave your phone in your pocket, not scrolling, not replying, just laughing, eating, and living. That is a dot day. Or when you're working on something that you're passionate about, totally zone in, not thinking about what happened yesterday or what is coming tomorrow. That is leaving the dot. So cut the mental line. You are not a timeline. You are a collection of moments. Be here on the dot right now. Tomorrow doesn't need your worry. You are in control of your emotions. How many times have you told yourself, I just cannot control my emotions? Maybe it is when someone cuts you off the traffic or when your friend says something that gets under you. And then the anger takes over. And you think to yourself, what do you expect? I'm only human. And yeah, you are absolutely right. We are human, we do have emotions, but we have far more control over our emotions than we think. Let me tell you a story. Maybe you even experienced something similar before. A mother is scolding her daughter because she didn't do her homework. She is clearly frustrated. And then the phone rings. It is her daughter's teacher. The mother then picks up the call and suddenly her tone softened. She speaks calmly and politely to the teacher. Alright, after the phone call, right after the call ends, just like flipping a switch, she's back scolding her daughter again. Now, here's the big question. If emotions were truly uncontrollable, how did she manage to change her tone so fast? It is because she didn't stop feeling angry. She chose to manage it in the moment. She chose to scold her daughter and she chose to speak calmly and politely to the teacher. We all do this. You could be in a terrible mood, but when your boss walks by or someone calls you out of the blue, you adjust. You already have that ability. And if you can do this to a stranger or on a phone call, you can definitely learn to do this to yourself, your family, and also the people around you. Controlling your emotion doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means choosing your response even when it is hard. That is the real emotional strength. Horizontal relationships. Have you ever noticed how we silently rank the people around us? We don't mean to do this, but we do it all the time. Someone is above us, someone is below us. We think things like, he's more successful than me. I know a lot more better than she does. That person isn't worth listening to. That is vertical relationship, and it is very dangerous because once we start ranking people, we also start judging them. We criticize, we try to prove we are right, we manipulate, we pick and choose who deserve our respect. And this doesn't just happen in obvious situations like boss to employee or parent to children relationships. It even show up among friends. Let me give you an example, right? Imagine you are hanging out with your friends and you think in your mind that John is smarter than me, but I'm definitely smarter than Ben. So what happens, right? You will take John's advice seriously and you ignore Ben's advice. You might even go as far as breaking your promises to Ben but not to John. Why? Because you place them on different levels. We do it all the time. We don't say it out loud, but we are constantly putting people on imaginary levels, and this is where judgment creeps in, right? We start to think that we are better than someone or we are not good enough for someone else. That is vertical relationships. But the real connection, the kind that build trust, growth, and mutual respect comes from horizontal relationships. It means treating everyone as equal, not pretending that we are the same, but recognizing that age, status, experience doesn't make one person better than another. It hits me hard when I'm dealing with younger people, right? Of course, I can be older. I have a lot more life experience, but I realize that doesn't make me smarter or even more capable. In fact, I'm amazed by how younger people learn, how fast they learn, the creativity they brings, the fresh ideas they have in mind. Alright, older doesn't mean smarter, so I'm learning to shift, to build horizontal relationships. But it isn't always easy because you see, we are so used to rank people. But it is worth it because when we drop the ladder and start meeting people eye to eye, this is where the real connections begins. The real freedom. Freedom is being disliked by other people. Doesn't sound right? But here's the truth. If you want to live your life freely, on your own terms, you must accept that not everyone is going to like you. And that's not a flaw. That is a proof that you are making choices based on your own values, not based on approval. We often think of freedom as breaking away from something. Quitting the job you hate, moving out from your parents' house, ending that toxic relationship. But it is not always about walking away from the things around you. It is about breaking away from the need to be liked by everyone. Imagine saying no to something that you don't believe in. Maybe it is a toxic friendship, alright? Maybe it is an unfair request at work, or maybe it is a family expectation that doesn't feel right. There is a good chance that someone is going to upset. And if you always avoid conflict just to please others, you will lose touch with your own voice. Of course, sometimes there will be a little voice in your head, alright? You might be thinking, what will others think of me? And then you eventually say yes. Not because it is something that you want to do, not because it is the right thing to do. It is because you don't want to disappoint anyone. And this is not freedom. And yeah, sometimes some people will judge you, some people might not like you, but guess what? That is their problem, not yours, right? Your job is to live your life in alignment with who you are, not who others expect you to be. Freedom, just as the book title, is the courage to be disliked. You are not the center of the world. Have you ever walked into a room and wondered, do I really belong here? Whether it is in school, at your job, with your friends, or even with your own family, we all want to feel like we matter, like it is okay for us just to be here. This feeling is what we call belonging, and that is one of the most basic human needs. The sense of belonging is earned by our effort, alright? We need to earn it. It's not something that is given. A lot of people live through their life thinking that they are the main character, they are the center. They look at other people and think, what can they do for me? And when other people don't meet those unspoken expectations, they will start thinking that other people didn't want to help. They don't care, they don't recognize them. But here's the thing, other people are not here to please you, to fulfill your needs. So instead of asking what I can get from other people, ask what I can give. You are not the center of the community. You are part of it. It is when you start contributing, supporting, and showing up for others without expectation. This is when the sense of belonging comes. It is not because someone give it to you. It is because you earn it by caring beyond yourself. Courage to be normal. Why do so many of us feel the need to be special? Maybe it is because deep down, we just cannot accept being normal. We think that if we are not standing out, we are somehow falling behind. But is being normal actually a bad thing? You have your routine, you go to work, you make mistakes, you do your best. That is normal, right? But often we reject that version of ourselves. We think that that's not good enough. Why? Because we have been conditioned to think that only being special makes us worthy. That unless we are the smartest, the most talented, the most successful, we are invisible. Think of this, when someone tells you that they are just average, alright, it often sounds like they are putting themselves down. But why? Average doesn't mean incapable. Ordinary doesn't mean worthless, right? In fact, a lot of times, our pain comes from the belief that being normal equal to being not good enough, which is why self-acceptance is so important. It is not about giving up. It is about recognizing that you do not need to be exceptional to matter. You do not need to prove your value by constantly showing up. In fact, if you stop trying so hard to be special, you free up the energy to be yourself, and this is when the real growth happens. Stop running away from normal. Normal means real, grounded, honest, human. And there is nothing wrong with this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you found the lessons in this video useful, be sure to pick up this book and read it yourself, The Courage to be Disliked. It is a great book, and there is definitely a lot more to learn in this book. I'm only sharing the lessons that are more relatable to me, right? So be sure to pick up this book if you found this video helpful. And as usual, hit the like button if you think this video is helpful, share to your friends and family, and subscribe for more of my future videos. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.